Well, hello, nobles. Mr. Mesqua here. Let's go ahead and complete or get some help with Mission 1, Familiar Faces of this...
Let's talk.
Whoa, that's loud, that's loud. Come on, calm down, video. Mission 1, Familiar Faces of this Nova Evolution Lab. I know, it says lab, but in reality it's more of a game. Familiar Faces, let's get to it. See, we have a dog, a goldfish, king snake, and an insect, a stick insect. I would suggest pause the video right now and try to predict which ones are more closely related to each other. Which two are each other's closer cousins or relatives compared to the rest. Unpause. Alright, here we go. If you didn't pause, that was just an uncomfortable pause for me. Come on, pause the video. So now the first thing you should do is go ahead and click and drag these to this darker shaded area. The order does not matter at first, but what you'll notice is that the stick insect shares only one characteristic with the rest of these organisms. So I'll repeat that one more time. It only shares one characteristic, shares, with these other organisms. Now, it could be that, well, this stick insect has a lot of characteristics, a lot of traits, but it's only one of them that is similar or that is shared with these other organisms. I know I said that a lot of times, but it's important that you understand that. And that's the main idea here. That's the big umbrella concept of this whole game challenge virtual lab. So what we're going to do and start with, here's the strategy, is we're going to place the stick insect by itself, and then we're going to take a look at this magnifying glass, because you could start by click and dragging and then just waiting and guessing which one is gonna be the shared characteristic. So in this case, amniot, this characteristic is shared by a king snake and a dog. What is an amniot? Amniot. First of all, let's see how to pronounce it, because I haven't said this word. Amniot. Okay. Hey, I'm human, guys. Amniotes. What is that thing actually? Well, it means that when you're born, you're not stored, but you are born and you stay in this amniote state. It's almost like an egg, and you can see it here. So for dogs, in this case, let's go back to here. For dogs and humans and pretty much almost any mammal, we stay in this placenta for some time before we're born. For snakes, they stay in an egg or in a shell before they're born. They're both preserved. There you go, preserved in this fluid before they're born. Unlike fish or at least goldfish and stick insects. All right, so again, you could go ahead and guess, but what I suggest is this. Go ahead and click on the stick insect. Take a note of the amniote. Vertebrae, bilateral symmetry. Which one does the stick insect share with the rest? And you'll see it right here. Displays bilateral symmetry. Now there's some background information. You don't need to know it, but sometimes it's just like, whoa, really cool information. I didn't know this about stick insects. The most important part, what is the trait that is shared with these other organisms? Take a look at the snake. Hey, bilateral symmetry. Fish, bilateral symmetry. Dog, where is it? Bilateral symmetry. What that means is the left and right halves of the body look the same. This half of the dog and this half of the dog, they're like mirror images, like my hands, mirror images of each other. So the one thing that they all share with each other is that they all have mirror images or mirror halves. And you made me thinking, wait, don't all animals do? No, some of them look different on one side than they do on another side. Perhaps plants, maybe not animals, but plants do. Now, which characteristic is shared by fish, snake, and a dog? So you'll notice the fish is missing one common characteristic, and we're going to take a look at that. Bilateral symmetry here. Well, the fish is also a vertebrate, and so in this case, we're going to put vertebrae here. They all accepted, or they all said, hey, yes, I share. They all raised their hand and said, at least these three, yes, I do have vertebrae. I do have a backbone. If you were to see the skeleton of a fish, there's this backbone. A snake, a backbone. A dog, a backbone. And now we can click and drag this over to next to a dog. Remember we said dogs and snakes are both amniotes. And there you have it. Was your prediction correct? Did you guess? Did you think that a dog was more closely related to a snake? Maybe you thought, well, a king snake is probably more like an insect because it's on the ground. Or maybe you thought a fish is more like a dog because we just have this perception that since they're both pets and they're very common, they may be related to each other. But they're not. A snake is more closely related to a dog, and this can be seen because their paths are closer to each other than they are to the goldfish. You can see here they both have this connection, and they share 1, 2, 3 things as compared to a dog and a fish. A dog and a fish only share 2 things, while a dog and a snake share 3 things. So what is it that dogs and snakes share? They're both amniotes. Well, animals in this puzzle look very different, but they all have one thing in common. What is it that they all have in common? Bilateral symmetry. This one has bilateral symmetry. This one has bilateral symmetry, bilateral symmetry, bilateral symmetry. And we are done with this video, so we can finally say, Bichoo.